What's going on, fam? Welcome back. This is Chris with Food for Your Thoughts. I know you're having a wonderful day. We're back with another Divine Alignment Light Code message. You better been taking care of yourself, learning as much as you can about your purpose, your mission, your life path, just getting the work done, investing time, and just uncovering who you are, why you're here on the planet at this time, and what can you do to get in a greater alignment with yourself, within, so it can be without, so you can express yourself, your true nature, your true divinity. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if you're new to the channel, it's all about personal growth development, self-discovery, self-realization, knowledge of self, and also self-mastery. We all been lied to on a mass level, so what do we do about it, right? We got to unlearn all the lies and relearn our own personal truth that work best for us, right? So we know Earth is a school, as always. Our purpose and mission require learn a whole bunch of life lessons, gain that experience, and knowledge for our soul grow. So if you've been doing the same thing over and over again, like our parents told us, my dad, mom, grandparents, these institutions, it's never too late to start over, okay? But you got to do it now. So sometimes you may need a mentor, but most importantly, you got to start reading them books, doing your own research, okay? So most importantly, what's going to leave you on your own path, right? You got to trust your own inner voice, your own energy. Stop blindly believing people. They've been flipped, the polarity inside out, instead of outside in, instead of inside out. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, trust your own intuition. Everything matters. There's a cause and effect for everything. So by knowing cause and effect, you're going to be very intentional with each and every day, the seeds that you plant in your life and the lives of others, right? So it's time, as you learn more about your name, which is your nature, your natal chart, and all these different numerologies, birth numbers and stuff like that, right? You're going to find your own biorhythm and flow, right? And that way you can find your own groove and get things going. But most importantly, the universe is going to mirror your intent, but you got to take action. Also, please pay yourself 10% first if you haven't done so already, okay? You'll thank me later, all right? So, before we jump right into it, be sure to click that like, subscribe button down below. I greatly appreciate you. If you're new to the channel, the reason why you gravitate to these presentations, you receive your call to adventure. The universe says it's time for each and every one of us to grow to the next level. We cannot longer, just be pointing a finger at people. We got to take some responsibility here. So the universe been lining up the right people, placing the event. Mother Nature been working on your side, drawing in, different birds, different totems, right? Different synchronistic events, but somehow, some way, right? Things been lining up for you. That's all I'm saying. So, and what'll happen, is like on your path, right? Because you want to know better. All right, you don't want to make the same mistakes over and over again, living your life on repeat. So the universe is going to line you up with people such as myself, sharing their true ups and downs, the things that work, the things that doesn't work, and also the tools that help me or us, to grow on our hero's journey. And I'm gonna keep telling you, these 7 hermetic principles, we doing these things each and every day, whether we know it or not. So why not get better acquainted with these things, so we can have a better understanding and somewhat of overstanding of these principles, so we can get better results in our life. And let me slow down a little bit, okay? So you're gonna be able to skip some lows, but you're still gonna make some mistakes, but those mistakes gonna give you the experience that you need, so you can grow through your own personal transformation and atonement process each and every day. So it's all about repetition and working on yourself each and every day, just connecting the dots, nature, intuition, learning more about your analogy. Each and every day it's all about tests and lessons, learning from your mistakes. You're gonna learn about astrology, geometry, and just tying things together, okay, in a nice little bow. All right, so before we jump right into it, if you appreciate the content, drop a thank you. If you really appreciate the content, I don't get paid for these videos, okay, for YouTube. I'm just sharing from my heart, because I know there's a lot of people out there that really don't read and research, but they want to know more about themselves. So I'm kind of like that initial spark here, right, to give you a little push to say, hey, you need to start reading, man. They've been lying to you a little bit. So just a little research and trust your intuition. It's going to lead you on a journey of self-discovery, okay? So these are my key points before we jump right into it. It's all about unity consciousness. I want to see you grow. All right, it's time to graduate. So these are messages from the universal source within you, because what? You are your own universe. So it's time for each and every one of us, again, to take full responsibility and accountability for all of our actions. We can't blame our parents, grandparents, these institutions. We're doing that, the bad deeds. We're following these bad crowds. We're participating, in these groups, acting like we got Stockholm syndrome, right? No, we're going to use our critical thinking skills, and we're not going to participate any longer, okay? We're gonna create our own vein, our own lane. All right, so before we jump right into it, throughout the infinite, the forces are in perfect balance. We've been talking about that before. Good side, not so good side. So hence the energy of a single thought, an idea, these light codes, these seeds that you've been getting, you need to take action on, right, may determine the motion of a universe, which is your universe. So you can get all the money, clothes, friends, and all that stuff. That stuff don't mean nothing when you don't know who you are, why you're here on the planet this time, and how can I, go to the next level on my hero's journey so I don't get stuck down here on repeat, right? That's why knowledge itself is more important and longer lasting. So if you don't learn anything else from these presentations, hey, learn these 7 hermetic principles. You're going to thank me in the long run. You be like, man, that Chris was a line. He was straight up with me. But I just didn't, take it serious at that time. So if you don't do it now, you're gonna do it later. But if you do it now, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna thank me later, okay? So either way, please invest in yourself. That's all I'm saying, all jokes aside. So there's a good side, not so good side to everything. There's a divine masculine and feminine principle within each and every one of us. We gotta balance ourselves. We gotta balance ourselves out, love ourselves 100%. So when if you're feeling a little bit unbalanced, go back on, flip the polarity a little bit, see what's going on, look at the root cause, right? And you'll be able to figure out like, oh man, I need to, give more love to my, to my family, to my children, or or I need to, share more of my wisdom with people because I have a lot of this knowledge, but it's just been sitting up on the bookshelf in my mind, and I need to let it go, right? And so that's kind of like with me. But I haven't been hoarding. I've been sharing information, since I came out the womb. I'm like, man, how can we get out of this thing, man? You know what I'm saying? It's like a slave system. So let's jump right into it. And underneath all the levels, you are divine light being. This is your true self, okay? To have this experience here, to participate on, planet Earth, the test of the heart, right? Your heart chakra, you come through the portal of your mother's womb. That's why you see this symbolism all over the place, like this fish symbol. It's you. So Taurus field, all right? Your electromagnetic, energy, feel around yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, let's talk about these 7 hermetic principles. So the principle of truth are 7. He or she who knows thee understandably possess the magic key before whose touch of all doors of the temple fly open. All right, they are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. And to maintain your heart chakra, these are your core values that keep you in your heart chakra at all times, or at least attempt to be in your heart chakra, right? And these are the principles of my eye, okay? This is not religion. These are just core, like thought values, right? So these are ancient system of morals and values that's going to help guide your thought and your behavior, as above, so below, right? So these principles are truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, balance, order, harmony. And then, the world is equally divided between good and evil. So are either you here to lift people up or you here to tear people down. It's just that simple. But your next move reflection is going to tilt the scale in either direction. So when you cause, that certain tilt, be ready for the effect. It's just that simple. So are you here to lift people up, or are you here to tear people down? So are you here to tell people the truth, or are you here to continue to lie to people about their whole entire history, genetic background, the whole makeup of everything, right? It's time to let to strip all the layers and start telling people the truth and just sharing true knowledge and wisdom with people, at least a reference, so people can have their own perspective. So again, don't believe nothing I'm sharing with you. Trust your own and voice your own energy. All right, leading on into it. So when it comes to the shadow, it's a good side, not so good side of everything. You got that polarity going on, right? Everything is dual. Remember that. So everything is dual, everything has pole, everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet, all paradoxes may be reconciled, right? So again, we talk about this good side, not so good side, but there's a neutral ground. Being able to see both sides, like, yeah, I see your point of view. You are right from your point of view. You are right from your point of view. All right. But which point of view is going to get us to the next step? Or what does the winner get if either party is right? A lot of times it's pointless. You know what I'm saying? So with that same amount of energy, you could have built the whole, wrote a couple books. You know what I'm saying? You could have started your own business. You know what I'm saying? So let's stop wasting energy. All right. So evil is a source of moral intelligence in the sense that we need to learn from our shadow. Pay attention. All right, from our dark side in order to be good. All right, so don't fight your demons. All right, your demons are here to teach you lessons. Sit down with your demons and have a drink and chat and learn. Pretty much learn their names and their and talk about the burns of their fingers and the scratches of their ankles. And some of them are very nice. It's all about their experience and what you realize. Like I use in many of my presentations, like I'm sharing my true ups and downs. I don't mind sharing. If I was in bad situations, if I stole or if I lied, what I'm saying, or if I cheated, things of that nature. But I use my shadow as a great teaching tool to help other people level up so they don't make the same mistakes like I did. So at the end of the day, you realize like, hey, I am the source of my own creation. I'm the one causing these effects that are popping up in my life, right? Because whatever I've been reading, eating, stuff like that, that's going to equal my output. So if I'm not growing, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, that means I need to change my input to have a better output. So if I don't do it now, shoot, I'm going to pay later, okay? So if I'm going to pay later, I need to do it now, okay? So if you want to, it's all about making the best out of the worst situation because you are a genius. So listen to your own inner voice, your own energy, so you can make things happen, Captain. All right. So please read the book, The Alchemist. Okay. It's going to take you far. So if you have, if you give your inner genius as much credence as your inner critic, you'll be light years, ahead of where you stand right now. Like reading those books, investing into your mental health. Cause there's more to official story we can learn about, our intuition, nature, our anatomy, geometry, and astrology each and every day, even our name, just to have a better understanding of who we are and what we're here to do. All right. So there's always more to know, because once you think you know everything, you start growing. Okay. So on your hero's journey, you're going to realize you're going to have to disassociate yourself with people. Okay. Because weak people revenge, strong people forgive, but intelligent people, they just cut people off like, hey, you're not on my vibe, my vibration frequency. So, I'm basically cancel you. You basically don't have access to my network, pretty much. All right. So as we get ready to wrap things up, there are cycles and seasons for everything, but you got to be accountability. Take full accountability and responsibility for each and every seed that you plant each and every day. Okay. But the same day you plant the seed isn't the same that you reap the fruit. I like to use that 30, 60, 90 day rule. That way you can, at least have some kind of assessment tool or a gauge to get you going on your path. Okay. But it's all about knowing more about yourself, raising your overall energy, frequency, and vibration, leaving, learning from your devil self, your lower aspects, and tying things together with your higher aspect, and using these things and knowing that you are the teacher and the student in your own reality. But are you paying attention in your classroom? Okay. So again, material items gonna come and go, but the knowledge of the self, of yourself is longer lasting. So if you don't learn anything else, learn these 7 hermetic principles. Okay. So every faith and tradition teaches us that, there's a balance to the cosmos: light, dark, good and evil, yin, yang, male, female, positive, negative, right? Everything is composed of opposite, and everything has to do with nature. In fact, uniting the opposite is the main game in the universe. It's all about finding that balancing point, but they don't teach you that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about finding that balance so you can tap into your true power, your true divinity. All right. So, leading on in, this is the biological model of the continuation of the species. Man and woman unite to create that child, that spark, that's you, that coming out that mother's womb to have this experience, right? And the internal model of consciousness, that conscious mind and the subconscious mind unite in the self, like you have right here. Okay. So where does your guardian angel fall in the duality? Right. And then you got heaven and earth, God, devil, higher self, lower self. Your guardian angel also has a shadow, believe it or not. Remember, all aspects, you have that good side, not so good side. You know what I'm saying? They don't make it bad, you know what I'm saying? But we do have those aspects. So just, be mindful of that. All right. So your dark side, your shadow must be discussed, okay, when talking about your guardian angel. Okay, so you can't just focus on your angelic side and don't and neglect your shadow. Okay, so there's a good side, not so good side to everything. So when you're dealing with anything any aspects in life, just remember that. So if anybody just focus on the good side, like what about the bad side? What if? Play the what if game. That's what I like to do. All right, but we don't like that to happen. But what if? We like to know the dark side too. Okay, so Your guardian angel has a shadow too. Your dark side, your shadow must be discussed when talking about your guardian angel or your higher self. Like I said, okay. So your shadow, your shadow, and the ignorance it manifests are very real. Okay, because ignorance basically means you choose to ignore. All right, and it's concrete part of the world, but they all begin and end within you. So, they aren't part of nature, but merging with your higher self is going to include balancing your shadow. Okay, but most important thing I want to mention here, but neglecting this natural process that we all have to grow through, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, will make you unbalanced and also turn you into an egomaniac. Okay, so it's time to unlearn all the lies and relearn your own personal truth and build your own your true relationship from the inside out instead of the outside in, and worshiping things, okay, outside of you. Okay, I hope that makes sense so far. So again, a good reference that's going to carry you along to walk you through this is, Your Guardian Angel and You by Denny Sargent, chapter 7, the reality of evil. So I'm going to talk about my own personal takeaways, when I read this books and my own personal life experience. Okay. And I'm going to get you guys out of here. So what is evil? Anything we deal with is based on perspective. Nature does not manifest evil. Evil comes from us, because we have to we can have that thought, right? But to actually do the deed, that's an act. That takes action, energy, right? So most religions agree that evil comes with self-consciousness, the awareness that you have a choice. We all have a choice to either do good or evil. So we each carry this challenge of good versus evil each day. So either you hear to be that angelic self of yourself, or you hear on devil time. You on angel time or demon time. It's up to you. Right, but Carl Jung calls this, the shadow. Others call this evil or demon, right? But please start looking into the etymology of words. You'll be surprised that there are more, beneath the surface when it comes to these words. So you can start breaking down these words, what they really mean. But the etymology of this demon is tapping into your inner genius, another aspect of you, and a good, and they hide this stuff all in the cartoons like Miraculous. I think that's like a Disney cartoon, Miraculous, right? But anywho, but number 3, the seeds of darkness are those negative, thoughts and deeds that we all, deal with, from one time over another. But I want to remind you that you contain the universe and the contradictions and impossibilities and the mysteries of the cosmos as well within you. Okay, as without, so within. So once you know who you are and why you're here on the planet at this time, we got to manipulate the energy. And as within, so without. Okay, so how does this affect your process of uniting with your higher self? Just remember, you are not alone in this. It's a team effort, as you grow through your own personal transformation and atonement process. And there are different aspects of you that they don't teach about that I'm here to, to refamiliarize you with. Okay, you already know this stuff. You just need just a quick reminder. Okay, so as we get ready to move things out here, where are we here? Your awareness of self and your experience, of good and evil cannot be complete without dealing with your shadow side. So, all things about you are not good in love. And we got to be honest with ourselves, okay? And I'd have my moments too, and I really want to slap the taste out of people's mouth, or I just want to tell them, cut them off and tell them like, hey, you're speaking outdated information. Have you read this book recently? And I don't want to do that to people when they're in the middle of mentoring somebody. But it makes me feel bad on the inside when this person is leading this person in the wrong direction because they haven't, looked into recent research. They repeating old information, and we know these individuals, very well, right? Okay, so as we get ready to close these things out, right? Number 5, what's the source of your shadow? And what it boils down to it's your ego, misplaced animal self, that misaligned animated self of yourself, right? And these egos are different masks or personas or self images we use to operate in this world. Like, we think that we're our career. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a retired Army veteran, right? We're none of that, because we just play these parts for a couple hours a day. We may learn about these different skill sets, but who are we, underneath the hood of that skill? Because most of us are only doing that just to get some money. Because if you really didn't need the money, most of us wouldn't even participate in these occupations, okay? Be honest with you, right? So at the end of the day, the ego, I'm not saying the ego is there to protect you, all right? Because there's going to be some moments where you have to say, like, man, do you realize how much work how many books I done read, how many hours I done invested into my own mental health, right? And how many people I done mentor over the course of 22 years, things like that. Your ego will have you speak up when you're talking to people that are ignorant, that lacks the knowledge, right? So, and the wise person will lead them to a proper reference, and don't, no debates required, right? Like, hey, I know there's a great book that's out there, can really help you, you know what I'm saying? And I was there too once upon a time, and just, say it with kindness and love, right? But everything has a purpose as we get ready to close things out. So even, evil is that human choice of flesh, living it, in that material world, right? That lower nature, that lust in nature, that self-interest, right? Over that spirit and love, that higher nature, where you like, man, what can I do to realize, more about myself and my true power, and like, how can I help myself, then help people level up on their path too? And that's where I'm at, right? So evil is not the shadow, it's the, pretty much that act. So, you can have these thoughts and ideas, but when you do the act, that's that dominance of the shadow, and that's, let you really out of balance, because you can follow these people that's leading you in the wrong direction, participating, having some Stockholm syndrome, believing in racists and all this other stuff, right? It's crazy. So each person, just realize that as we close things out, each person is unique. Your higher self is the regulator of your shadow, all right, to keep it in check, all right? But you gotta, keep your core values in line, right? These 7 principles of my is gonna keep you going in the right direction. Trust me, all right? But at the end of the day, trust your own inner voice, your own energy. It's all about, balancing your own polarity, that yin and yang, and also just remember the shadow again, is going to offer you those lessons, that pain, those obstacles, so you can learn and grow. You know what I'm saying? So to know what success feel like, you got to know what failure feel like first. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to go through those, you got to have those growing pains, or you got to go through those heartfelt mistakes to really appreciate success. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to keep it as simple as that. So when you balance, that shadow, it can be a great teacher. And that's why I use to present these presentations, man. I don't mind, sharing, the not so good side of my, hero's journey, because I use those to show people, like, hey, if you don't do that, invest in these different opportunities, or if this is what happens if you don't read books over a period of time, and then you'll be forced to follow somebody else because you lack the knowledge, right? So I got tired of letting people lie to me in my face, and I want to learn things on my own, and that way I can have my own knowledge of self, and so I don't be dependent on people. I can be my own guru, my own leader, right? Instead of being a follower. All right. So as we get ready to close things out, when this shadow is unbalanced, again, it's going to lead to some, you following a crowd that's going to lead you in the wrong direction. It's going to lead you into some mischievous deeds and participating in some acts, having that Stockholm syndrome. Okay. So flip the polarity. It's time to add value to people's lives. Be that change agent. Love yourself 100%. And it's going to manifest, from the inside out, okay? So you appreciate the content. This has been my personal takeaway when it comes to your guardian angel and your shadow, the reality of evil. And, by now, Earth is a school. When you know better, you're going to do better. As always, before we lead on out, be sure to click that like, subscribe button down below. I really appreciate you. Appreciate the content. Drop a thank you. And you really appreciate the content, which I know you do, because you still watching. You really do appreciate the content. From time to time, go ahead and drop a cash app, $1, $2. Every little bit counts, okay? You investing in yourself, okay? So as always, Earth is a school. Our purpose and mission require to learn a whole bunch of life lessons, gain the experience, knowledge for our soul grow. It's never too late to rewrite your story. The past, present, and future is happening right now. So the things you're doing right now are either, rewrite your past, or, and set you up for success for your future, or it's gonna set you up for, for failure for your future, and have you looking at your past like, man, I just been letting time go, right? So, but at the end of the day, it's never too late, to just change. The universe is gonna mirror your intent. You know, there's no cookie cutter recipe to life. You know, it would be too easy for me to say that, but I'm not going to say that to you. I'll be wrong to tell you that. But the best advice I can give you is these 7 hermetic principles. They're going to help, you know, give you that balance that you need, because you're going to learn more about yourself, guaranteed, okay? But this is Chris with Food for Your Thoughts. Take care of yourself, love yourself. We'll be back with another presentation soon. Until next time, stay grateful and focused, fam. Peace.